of actually how this works in real terms. So you can see this is all the work that I do. So you can see that I really am somebody who works regularly with artwork. You know, I'm a proper illustrator. I'm not just making it up. I'm a real illustrator. Right. Okay. So I'm going to bring up a new document. This always goes wrong in this bit. A4. No, there we are. A4 landscape. Because I want to be able to write on it to show you some information. So let's see what we can do. I can select the where's it gone? Where's my animator pencil? Oh, there we are. There's the animator. So I can let you have sort of like all of these pencils if you want. It'd be really good to actually get some sort of report and find out how many of us are working digitally, how many's working normally. I'll get onto the kind of materials that you might need in a moment, but the good news is that everything I show you, you can do with pencil and paper. All right, you really can. You don't need to have computers or anything else like that. If you've got a computer or if you've got an iPad, then do work on that. Absolutely brilliant. You'll get used to using layers. So I'm going to teach probably layers and all that kind of thing in a more public kind of setting. This is really for, I'm going to teach, the whole thing is going to be 3 levels, but I'm only going to do the basics at the first. And the idea is to get it so you can illustrate your own books and save money. I shall show you why. If you're going to be successful in book writing and selling books on Amazon, then it used to be that anybody could throw up a book and immediately you would be successful. But things have changed over the years, and now if you're going to be successful, you're going to be able to have your own job as a writer anyway of books. You need to actually make 12 books. Okay, it's as simple as that. And I hope that none of you are going, oh no, I can't manage to write 12 books. You'll be able to, and you don't have to write them all tomorrow, so you're all right. But you need to actually write 12 books to get traction on Amazon, and you need to be publishing them. I'll give you some good news first of all about these 12 books. Actually, can I just get rid of those and put that on a new layer? All right, so 12 books. Okay, so you try 12 books. The first thing is that I'm going to say aim for 12 books over 4 years. All right? Okay. And the reason why you do that is because of something called the long tail. So I'm going to give you some marketing stuff as we go on here. And we don't need this in a minute, so I'm just going to show you how the long tail works. So this is time. And this is sales. And what happens is when you launch your book for the first time, if you follow some of the directions which I suggest about marketing through Facebook and that kind of thing, not being worried about people stealing your work, because I've never seen it yet, because we're just not famous enough. If you're a David Walliams or a Julia Donaldson, then people will steal your stuff and want to copy it. But if you are releasing stuff to your own groups and that kind of thing, then the chances of your material being stolen are pretty slim, and you've always got evidence to be able to prove it. Okay, but we'll go into that in future. So this is the time damage down the bottom, and when you sell books, you're going to get something of a graph that looks like that. Okay, so the sales go up fairly quickly at first if you do your marketing in the right way, but then very quickly they fall off. So you may be only getting getting a few sales a month. So you might start off with something like per month. So if I divide this into months, say, so these are months, and in the first month you manage to get 100 sales of a book. Okay, and that's pretty good going actually, and I see that quite regularly. So this is month 1. Okay, month 2, because things have caught on a little bit, your total number of sales are about 120. So there's 120. Month 3, however, you now go down to maybe 90, and then it falls to 50, and then it falls to 30, maybe even lower, and then it might fall down to 10. And then if you're fortunate, you'll carry on selling 10 books every month. And if you're getting something in the region of well, I'm going to use pounds if that's all right. But if you're going to get £4 profit per book, that equals £40 per book per month, which actually is not a lot of money, and you and it's not enough really to make your amount back. So let's just look. Sorry, my hair's a bit of a mess. I'm just editing the video and realised that I've actually missed a crucial part in finishing off the bit about the long tail. At the moment, it doesn't look very good that you're only actually selling £40 worth of books every month. However, if you actually have 12 books that are selling at £40 a month, it makes sense. And it's all about the long tail. So my objective is to help you to be able to get to those 12 books a month sale in 4 years' time, so that you're making a good income. And at that point, you'll have a big enough income to go and pay for another illustrator and all the rest of it. So you can then start really ramping up. But at the moment, the idea is that this is to help you to be able to get started. And in the first year and the second year, you won't make a huge amount of money. The point is that you're trying to make enough money to be able to keep you rolling, and it's a great process. It's really fun. You're only doing 3 books a year, and you should have enough capacity to be able to do that. And at the end of the 4th year, what you find is that people have they discover you. You got a bigger imprint, you've built up your email list, and I'll be showing you how to do all that as part of the marketing modules in here. So you'll get to the end, you'll have an email list, you'll be selling to more people. So when your new book comes out, it'll have a much bigger impact on Amazon. Therefore, more people will find you, and then people will say, what other books have you written? And therefore, your earlier books, the number that you're selling will increase even in that. So there's a whole load of things, but that's why you've got to get to 12 books. And if you think that you can do less than 12 books, then, I mean, you might do it. You might be sort of like a really good success. You might get it. Some people see success after only 4 or 5 books, but I'm saying commit to 12, and then that can be your ambition, and then see what happens along the journey. All right, whatever happens, you're going to learn to draw pictures. Right, back to the video. How much does a book cost? Can you read my writing? To produce. Okay, so how much does a book cost to produce? Let's see if I can remember the kind of things that we want to put into here. So, what do we have? 1. We've got your time and that kind of thing, but we will ignore all that. You've got your editor. 2. You've got your illustrator. 3. You've got your designer. 4. Now, this is when it gets dodgy. Should we say publisher? Okay, let's say you're going to go down that route with the publisher. I'm just going to... Okay, so that's the publisher that you don't want. They got 5. You're still going to have to do advertising. All right, whether you want to or not. So, an editor may set you back, I don't know, we're going to put a figure on it of 500. So I know a friend of mine who charges about £500 per children's book. Your illustrator is going to charge you £1,000. Your designer is probably going to charge you £500 to £1,000. Okay, now this one here, the illustrator, by the way, is a cheap illustrator. I charge way more than that, like I said, even to individuals. That publisher, what did I say? He was charging £1,500. And then your advertising, well, the sky's the limit, really. But there's something called CTA, which is also known as cost to acquire. All right. And the cost to acquire a customer works out whether or not you're going to get a sale at the end of it. But typically, the cost to acquire a customer through advertising is $1. All right. Or actually, we're going to keep to pounds. Let's keep it normal. I flip between the two because I work with an awful lot of American kind of information, so I flip infrequently between the two. So cost to acquire a customer is £1. So already, if you're going to get £4 profit, or try and get £4 per book, you're already down take off this figure here, you're already down £23 per book. Yes? And you've got all of these charges. So what's that? 500, that's 1,000, so that's 2,000, so that's £3,500. So if you run that figure 3 into there, it's 1, 1, 2, 20 is, what's that, 6, 0 down. So it's about that. You would have to sell that many books to be able to even break, to even break even. That makes sense. And suddenly you start realizing how expensive the book publishing business is. And that's why they call it vanity publishing, because vanity publishing means you're just doing it for the fun of it and not really taking the, and it's the lady I spoke to in Costa, she said the reason why she was happy to pay that sort of money was it was like when her husband paid to go fishing. And I thought, if you're doing 4 books, that's £12,000. That's an awful lot of fishing that husband is doing. So anyway, that's beside the point. So what my objective is, when I looked at all this, I thought, do you know what? What happens if I got rid of some of these costs? So, an illustrator. What if you could learn to illustrate your own books? Designer. Guess what? It's not rocket science. You can learn it, and you can also copy from other books. Seriously, it's not hard. Publisher. You can self-publish, and although it'll take a little bit of a learning curve, I can both teach you to do it, but I think what I might do is I might link to somebody else who can also do it. But again, all the information's out there of how to publish, and on the forums you already belong to, on Facebook, people will help you to do it. Okay? In fact, to be honest, the most complicated bit is setting up the payment, but if you're already in the States, it's easy. It's much trickier for when you're in the UK. Excuse me. Cost to acquire is still going to be £1. So where I'd like you to only be investing your money is this £500 number here. Okay, so finding yourself an editor, but even then there are ways around it. So there's a book that you can get which helps you to self-edit. Right, that's step 1, and I'm going to show you what that book is in a moment, and I'll be setting up a web page to Amazon, which I admit is a little bit of an affiliate sale, but that just helps me sort of like to make other videos and that kind of thing. So I'm gonna put that on so you can find it. So the first thing is there's a book which will help you to get it to print to a very high standard print ready. Okay. Second one is Grammarly. All right, so you can make sure that you've got Grammarly installed on your computer because it's free. You don't need the premium version. For a lot of this, you can use Grammarly plus Word. All right, so Microsoft Word's pretty good. So between the two of them, it catches most problems. The third one that you can go for then as well is Friends. All right, and your friends can read the book. If you do those 3 things, when you go to the editor, in fact, you might not even need to go to an editor. Worthwhile, ask around, find the cheapest prices, but you might be able to, you can really get the price down of this because the editor will want to read through it once and say, that's great, it's perfect. And so you're looking not for you're looking more for a line editor to be able to get the details right. The rest of it is yours, so you can really axe those prices. What's that mean in the end? It means that you can invest all of your money in this cost to acquire kind of figure. And I tell you what, I've come up with a, because my whole business is about helping authors tell their stories, and I think we should tell more stories because it changes lives. I've put together a marketing document which actually shows you how you can use things out there that are free and the process of doing it to be able to get the word out there to get people to buy your stuff. And it's sound information. It's things which I've experimented with over the years and I've seen a lot of success on, and I think it's worth getting into. So the main thing we're trying to do is get this price down here. Now you might be thinking, but hang on a minute, why would that really help? Well, unless you've got this big figure here, this £3,500 per book to write a book, you're not going to be able to get the 3 books a year out there, because it's going to cost you what, 9, 10, 11,000 pounds. And if you've got 11,000 pounds, go and buy an illustrator, go and buy everything else, just get on with it and work on it. But it'll take you a while to get the money back. The big deal, really, for me, is to look at the cost per year and realize that if you do your own illustration, you don't have to wait. So let me see if I can just spell that out a little bit more. So let's say it's going to cost you, we'll put a round figure of it of £3,000. All right. So we'll keep it fairly small. So let's say it's going to cost you £3,000 this year to be able to produce just 1 book, and you want to produce over 4 years, 12 books. So you're going to have to multiply that by 3. That means you're going to have to find £9,000 this year. Okay, huge amount of money. You probably won't be able to afford it. You'll probably be able to afford just the £3,000 once. Now, I've already said that you need 12 books to be able to get any traction. So what are you going to do? Well, the best bet is reduce this cost down here. Now, the next thing, of course, is that if you're going to learn all the different things about design and illustration, all the rest of it is going to bring the costs down, then actually, how are you going to do that many books anyway? Here's the thing, though. Here's the point, which is worth getting your head around. If 1 book took 3 months to produce, and to write an illustrator book is kind of like, you're looking 3 to 5 months, something like that. If 1 book takes you 3 months to produce, you have got 9 months to learn. All right? That means 9 months over the whole year. Now, what you could do is you could take that process of producing a book and spread it through the whole year and only produce 1 book in the first year. And that will be fine, because you're learning the process. And if you learn the process, then you'll be able to do everything the following years that much quicker. And it is a process. All of this stuff is a process. So that, to me, is the exciting thing. If I can manage to teach you how to illustrate your own books.